Well, here we are, day 0. I just got home from the hospital looking as fresh as you can imagine. Started about 5:30 this morning, and we now have a ACL that is put back together. It was totally gone, but they took it for my patellar tendon, and it is basically underneath that, all back together, and definitely not riding that anytime soon. But yeah, so I think the surgery part went pretty well. I took a little bit longer waking up after the anesthesia. I pretty much woke up crying, which was a little weird, crazy, but they gave me more pain meds, and it's not too bad now. So there's that. It was painless otherwise. I think just the waking up part was the most painful. And then one little misstep when they were teaching me how to move along with this guy. I said oops, there's my dog. I'd rather have the walker. Actually, the wheelchair is only there for when I get experimental and want to walk Maui in the dog park, around the park. Otherwise, I won't be using that. But yeah, so we have the walker. Maui, can you stop? Can you stop doing that? He makes this really annoying noise. He's like licking himself, and it's super annoying. But I guess he's happy. But yeah, I'm hooked up. I got this little ice machine. I can't really feel any of it, but they said that will be helpful. It's on top of my knee, on top of the dressing right now. And my friend dropped me off at the hospital and picked me up, and we just got back, and she got me set up kind of with the works. I got some poppy drinks, some mixed nuts over there. This is awesome. Dear friend, also having surgery today, got me a box full of goodies, and this recovery knee surgery book. I've already colored in it with my pen while I was at the hospital. Did a couple things in that. Got a book to read, and yeah, so the adventure begins. They said in day 0, basically right now, I should focus on trying to move the knee and with these little exercises as often as I can, within reason, and so it doesn't get too stiff, because I won't feel like moving it. But there's a couple little exercises that they gave me, so I feel pretty tired right now still, so probably first I'm gonna rest more, and then when I get tired of resting, then I'll do some of those little exercises, the up and down as much as I can. I do have a pretty good ability to bend it, if you can see that. Better than most, I guess, at this point, which I definitely attribute to all the stuff I was doing in the month and a half I had after the accident to get my range of motion back. I think that's helped me a lot in this early part, or at least I'd like to believe that it will help speed things up to get my range of motion back. But yeah, so basically how all of this got started was the last weekend of May, about a month and a half ago now. I was at a Spartan Ultra event out in Colorado Springs, and I was in heaven. Side note, I was hopefully still planning on moving out there. I was looking at houses that weekend, and in the event, it was about mile 4, and I was loving the course, doing really well. I think I was like in 3rd for the women, and just I loved it. until I didn't. I was on this obstacle they call the twister. It's a spiral and it has hand grips, and I was going backwards on that. And at the very end of all these obstacles, if you haven't done one, you gotta hit this bell. And I basically was at the end backwards, and I was pretty sure that that bell was gonna get hit, even though I was in a bad position. And so I made a jump for it, and I landed pretty crappy, and pop, there goes the ACL. So it definitely wasn't like a running specific injury. It was more of the actual accident. Pop, traditional ACL gone. So that was around mile 4, and knowing me, it took some minutes laying there, and then got myself back up and actually made it to the halfway point of that ultra before I said I can't go anymore. But it definitely was pretty bad. Any coming off obstacles, it buckled a few more times, and I just couldn't do it, and it was pretty painful. So that sucked. And I had a couple MRIs to confirm that it is completely gone, that I actually had to get this surgery. A bunch of people told me about the kind of spectrum of things you can do with this type of injury. A lot of elite athletes choose to get the surgery so they can come back to sport, whereas there are lower grade versions of the surgery that will return a person back to functioning, but not necessarily back to sport or where they were before. So I asked to basically get the recommendation from my ortho on what he would do if he was in my position and wanting to return to sport at the highest level I can. And so that's why we went with the patellar tendon graft. And he did say that was the most painful, but it's kind of like the gold standard. And so yeah, that's what I chose. Maui, can you stop? He's got this obsession with licking his paws, and the sound is so annoying. Anyways, so yeah, so we decided to do that, and I basically tried to get as much range of motion and strength back in my leg in the past month and a half. Did a bunch of, physical therapy type of activities for the leg. Been doing a lot more time in the pool. I would say that swimming is not my favorite thing, but I've been in the pool quite a bit, and been even on the elliptical the last several weeks, and things that I wasn't able to do. It took about, I don't even know, 3 or 4 weeks to get a revolution back on a bike. So it did take me time to get that back, but once I got it, it was easier to do other things, so that was helpful. And yeah, now I think we're just gonna go one day at a time. Basically used to doing quite a bit in my life and sport, and this will be a new challenge for sure. So I'm gonna try and keep my nutrition on point. Definitely used to eating a lot more, so I'm gonna try and do more actual plant-based and also liquid. Like for the first 7 days, I thought about doing some fasting, which I am a fan of intermittent fasting, but I do want it to be realistic for me, and I do love food, so I'm gonna try and keep it as nutrient dense as possible, and definitely try not to gain more weight if I can help it, so I can come back quicker. But yeah, I feel pretty tired, so I'm probably gonna be sleeping a lot of the rest of today, and I guess we're just gonna take it one step at a time. And if you're an athlete or endurance, in the endurance space at all, or like to do CrossFit and or things like the tactical games, Patriot games, shooting, lifting and stuff like that, and you tear your ACL, maybe this type of road to recovery will be helpful for you, and I will try and give some updates because I'll have so much more time than I could ever imagine. And yeah, so I'll let you know what's working, what's not working, and how it's going. But as they say, D-Day, day 0, here we go. Serena's ACL recovery. Let's get it going.